Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to the second of my random hypnosis sessions. For those that maybe didn't catch the previous one, the concept is very simple. I have a few different websites that generate entirely random ideas. So the first is a page that generates a destination finder. So it will randomly choose a location in the world. The second will generate 3 different emotions. And then the final is a random word generator that generates 3 different words. I will then take those randomly generated either emotions, the destination, or the words, and then weave them into a hypnosis session in real time. So if you're listening to the podcast, that might sound a little implausible, which is why I'm actually recording this as a video, which will go on my YouTube channel. So the bit that I'm about to do now, and I'm recording this live, is to show the 3 random page generators live on screen, so that for those watching, you'll see that the words are actually being generated in front, in basically real time. So let's do this now. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm on a website called Earth Roulette. I'm going to generate my destination. There's an advert that's just come up. Okay, this is a destination I've never heard of, called Bendigo in Australia. Let's see what we can find out about Bendigo. Okay, it looks like it's a very kind of old-fashioned kind of town. Big old cathedral, quite cute-looking parks and theatres and that kind of stuff. So that's Bendigo in Australia. Now, just a quick summary of it. Bendigo is a regional city in Victoria, Australia, with a population of about 92,000. It's the 4th largest city in the state, and is about 140 kilometres northwest of Melbourne. It's known for its grand Victorian architecture, built during the gold rush of the mid-19th century. So there's a couple of clues there in terms of the gold rush. It's kind of like quite an old-fashioned town, so it's had its kind of golden era in the past. So that is the destination. We're going to use that as part of the induction. Now if we go to the emotion, we're going to generate 3 different emotions. So randomize. We've got 3 here: pride, pity, and madness. Pride, pity, and madness. So we're going to use these as part of the actual hypnosis session. And then the final section of this is the random word generator. 3 words. And here interesting. Okay, so we've got pool, architecture, and advance. And what's interesting there is that architecture, which was just completely randomly generated, coincides with a word that came up when looking at Bendigo, this old-fashioned town in Australia, famous for its Victorian architecture. So we're going to use this idea of architecture that may even fuse into some kind of metaphor and that kind of thing. So we're now going to stop sharing the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be aware of that. And we're going to go straight into the hypnosis. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, just imagine breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense of those unresourceful feelings leaving your body. Any tension, any stress, any anxiety. Continue to breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation and allow tension to leave your body on your outward breath. That's right. Going deeper and deeper. Relaxed. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to think about times gone by. Most people live in the present or perhaps distant memories, but only within their life. And from a cosmic perspective, the entire human civilization is just a blink of an eye compared to the age of the universe. It's been said that even if we just look the entire history of planet Earth, if the entire history of planet Earth was thought of as a 24-hour clock, all of those millions of years, violent volcanoes, frozen wastelands, millions upon millions of years where there was no mammals, just perhaps bacteria, plankton there in the sea. And if you were to think of that 24-hour clock, then the entire history of humans would represent the final minute of that 24-hour clock. Our history is tribes of hunter-gatherers building the Great Pyramids, Greek, Roman civilizations, great empires, all condensed into just 1 minute of Earth's history. And I want you to get a sense that the world has only recently been explored. There was a time when Europeans had no idea of countries like the Americas, Australia. This is all fairly recent, and I want you to imagine that you were drifting to a different place. I want you to imagine that you are no longer in your physical body, but your imagination is going on a journey. A journey to Australia. But not present-day Australia. I want you to imagine that as you travel to Australia, you're going back in time. Back in time, perhaps 100, maybe 200 years ago. Australia at that point just had in its huge island millions of acres of land. It was relatively unsettled. And I want you to imagine that you were in a vibrant small town in Australia called Bendigo. And this town was created on the back of a gold rush. Back then, gold was discovered, and speculators, opportunists, flocked to this small town called Bendigo to seek their fortune. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to be in a vibrant yet young town where people are there to find something of value. They called it the gold rush because there was a sense of excitement. And I want you to imagine you're one of those people looking for something valuable. Now, I don't know if they were finding gold in hills or mountains, deep mines, or perhaps they were panning for gold in the streams and rivers surrounding the town. I just want you to get a sense that you're there in this place. I want you to get a sense of the madness that comes. The madness that comes from when people obsessively follow a dream, yet they don't understand it. To the family members of those people that left everything they knew to travel to Bendigo to seek their fortune in gold, perhaps they thought they were mad. And I want you to think of something that you pursue, that's important to you, that feels completely natural, logical, and yet other people consider it odd, strange, perhaps even mad. But I'd like to suggest an idea to you, that the real madness isn't in pursuing something that you deem important. The real madness is following the script of life, to accept some of these cultural suggestions, almost societal hypnosis, you could think of it. So many people spend their time, their lives, in meaningless work, in unhappy relationships, settling for whatever little they have. And yet, time and time again, we hear stories of people pursuing big dreams against all odds, pursuing something meaningful and important to them. And perhaps when you're pursuing something so important, it gives you a sense of pride. The pride that comes not from whether or not you achieve whatever it is that you set out to achieve, but the pride of knowing that you're doing something important, meaningful. I want you to get a sense that one of two things must be true in your life. Either you are currently pursuing something meaningful and important that gives you a sense of purpose, or that perhaps you haven't found what that is yet. Maybe you're seeking that treasure, that gold. The gold of knowing that when you find that thing that inspires you, gives you a sense of purpose, in many ways it doesn't matter what you actually achieve. Because the real treasure, the real gold, is in pursuing that important thing. I want you to imagine that you're going on a walk from the town of Bendigo, surrounded by these Victorian architecture, these impressive churches and buildings. But you're leaving that town and you're going out into the countryside to a stream that someone has told you is great for panning for gold. You have all the right equipment. You have the pan. And you know the place in the stream where you've been told there is the occasional nuggets of gold. I want you to imagine that you're there, under blue skies and warm sunshine, the heat of an Australian summer. I want you to imagine you're paddling in that stream, the coolness of the water regulating your body temperature. Imagine holding a metal pan in your hands. And I want you to get a sense of what your own expectations are. That you're not expecting to pick up a big bowl of rubble and pebbles, silt and soil, and expect all of that to be solid gold. Your expectations are that you can go through all of that pebbles and stones and silt and soil and just find the occasional nugget of gold, and that makes it all worthwhile. And I want you to imagine what life would be like if, in order for you to be happy and satisfied, every experience had to be a nugget of gold. Wouldn't it be the case that if everything was gold, where would the value lie? When the ancient conquistadors discovered the New World, discovered all that gold from the Americas, the value of gold in Europe plummeted because of all of that new supply. Sometimes what gives things value is their scarcity. I want you to get a sense that you are now panning for gold, there in that stream, scooping up rubble and silt and soil and stones, and then shaking them gradually. And every now and then, there it is. A tiny nugget of gold. And it's that nugget of gold that makes all of that work worthwhile. And I want you to imagine that you are the architect of your future. That in order to advance your life in the direction that you want, you need the blueprints. You need an idea of what that magnificent future would actually look like. What are the key ingredients in your future? And what are the nuggets of gold that make that future worthwhile? As you filter through all of that rubble, I want you to get a sense that in life, emotions aren't always good. sometimes you've got to filter through the frustration, boredom, the feelings of being tired and fatigued, disillusioned. But in life, the nuggets of gold are those emotions that are connected to a moment or a memory that feel precious and valuable. And isn't personal pride one of them? When you think back and filter through the memories of your life, what memories give you a sense of personal pride? And wasn't it the effort required that gave you that sense of pride? Nobody feels proud if results come too easy. The feeling comes from overcoming adversity, finding the inner resilience to pursue something meaningful, to keep filtering through the soil and silt in life until you find those nuggets of gold, and that's what gives it value. That's what enables you to advance forward. I want you to imagine it's now the end of the day, and you have a pouch filled with nuggets of gold. And perhaps you had to get through a lot of soil and silt and stones and pebbles to find that pouch of gold, all in separate tiny nuggets of gold. And I want you to walk down the stream and see that the stream opens up into what looks like a pool of water. And I want you to imagine, given how hot it is, just on the outskirts of Bendigo, Australia, on this hot day, that you take a swim in that pool. But this is a pool of resourcefulness. By swimming in this pool, you're going to feel more resourceful, more motivated, more creative, more resilient, more determined. Whatever resources you need most right now is this pool of water. And while you're swimming around in this pool of water, you can't help but piece together the blueprint, the plans, the architecture of your future. What is it? What is it that you want? Where are you moving towards? What do you currently have that's getting in the way, and what do you need? What do you need to pursue a life that's meaningful, desirable? A life so profound and important that when you get to the end of your life, there will be no pity. Only a sense of personal pride that comes from looking back on a life well lived. The only pity you will feel is the pity for those people around you that never figured out the blueprint for their future, that just went with the flow, never realizing that they could advance and design a life aligned with their values, their goals, all the things that are valuable to you. And as you get yourself out of that pool of water, holding that pouch full of solid gold, I want you to get a sense that the real value is not in things, not in money, not in gold, but in experiences, memories, moments, particularly those that give you a sense of personal pride, gratitude, and satisfaction. And then you return back towards that booming town of Bendigo, with the impressive Victorian architecture, holding a pouch full of gold in one hand, but knowing that the real gold is now within you. The resources, the ideas, the plans, and more importantly, the desire to advance your life day by day, incrementally, in the direction that takes you. You are the architect of your future, and the actions and decisions you take will take the blueprint of your life from an idea and turn it into reality. And then as you arrive in Bendigo, looking around, seeing people bustle around with their lives, holding on to that pouch of gold, it occurs to you, all of this is just an idea within an idea, a thought within a thought, a dream within a dream, and actually you are firmly in the present, listening to my voice right now, with a clearer sense of what your future will be, and you are the architect of that future. You will awaken, when I count from 1 to 10, feeling completely motivated and determined to advance your life in the very direction you want to take it. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.